Hi, I'm Luke.
And I'm Becca, and we're talking about movies like we know stuff.
Hey friends, Luke just popping in here to say that we are still fine-tuning our audio, so thank you for your patience. Also, we decided to try something different by giving a rapid-fire opinion on the trailers we saw before the movie started. Hope you enjoy!
Alright, rapid-fire preview opinions. So the first preview we saw was Demon Slayer Infinity Castle. What'd you think?
Looked like an anime movie about an anime series I know nothing about.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's interesting. I might check it out, for sure. And then the next one was Flight Risk. That's the one with Mark Wahlberg, and they're on a little Cessna, and then tragedy happens, and they find out he's some sort of killer or hitman or something or other. What'd you think?
No, I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about a plane crash, so this movie could only be like, what, 10 to 20 minutes long in real life?
That's what I think. This movie is really going to suffer from how much bad stuff can happen in like a 12 by 4 square foot area.
Like, how on earth are they going to stretch this to 2 hours?
I know, it's wild.
Lots of flashbacks.
Lots of flashbacks. Lots of close calls. I'm sure the engine will sputter at some point in time, you know. So, yeah, interesting, but kind of meh on my need to go see. The next one is Last Breath. So actually, I saw the YouTube video explaining this because it's based on a true story. And from what I understand in the YouTube video, the gentleman does survive, surprisingly, this ordeal.
Oh, wow, yeah, because I thought it looked great, honestly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but horrifying. So I don't know if I could watch it without knowing what happens. Like, I want to know who lives and dies, and then I can relax. Like, I don't know if I can do another whatever like movie we watched about like the people who were spelunking, basically, like the cave diving.
Yes.
That took like a good 3 years off my life.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm like pushing 40, like physically because
of that movie. Yeah, I am torn about this one because I think it looks really interesting, and the YouTube video was fascinating. I thought it was really cool. Unfortunately, it plays with my worst fear, which is drowning. It's like one of my biggest fears.
And being in the ocean, being in the deep sea by yourself.
I don't like that either. So coin flip for me on this one for sure. All right, so the next one was live action Lilo and Stitch.
Absolutely not. No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
No.
I thought Stitch's fur looks cool, but I have no strong desire to see that movie.
I mean, it's like every other live action where it's not live action because Stitch isn't real.
Yeah.
So
it's just animated
again. It's like Stitch but the Garfield movie.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, don't be talking bad on my Garfield.
Like, do I want to see that? I don't. I don't.
Yeah, right.
So, like other live action remakes, I won't be seeing this one either.
Well, speaking of live action How to Train Your Dragon was the next preview.
Yeah, no, but I told you, I don't want to see it, but I do want to hear the John Powell orchestrations on Spotify later.
Yeah.
That arrangement was fire.
Yes, that music is going to be really, really good. So definitely we'll listen to the soundtrack. Soundtrack will definitely probably end up on a playlist of ours for sure.
And it is cool that like the voice of Stoic is Stoic. Like he's going to be, Gerard Butler is going to be in-person Stoic.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. I didn't notice that. So glad you pointed that one out.
I'm still probably not going to go see it.
Yeah, probably not. Again, like my short opinion on that one is, why do I need to go see a shot-for-shot remake with a fake dragon again?
You don't.
Exactly, yeah. It makes no sense. The next one, was Mickey 17. That's the one where it's like a space future movie where they kind of take this guy out and make him do like really dangerous jobs, and then whenever he dies, they just kind of like clone him or reprint him again.
Mm-hmm. It gave me Fallout vibes.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the 2 episodes of Fallout, I could get there.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I am interested, and if we don't make it to the theaters, I think it's going to be worth the rent.
Yeah, for sure. I want to check out the reviews first to see how it goes, just in case it kind of is not very good, but I think if the reviews are good, I definitely want to see it for sure.
Promising.
Yeah. And then wrapping up the trifecta of live action, we brought live action Minecraft to the party.
No.
Okay, no, not at all?
No, I'm not a 10-year-old boy.
Oh, man. I don't know. I might want to drag you to that one because you're my wife and I love you and we make each other watch movies.
Can't you see it with your friends?
No.
Like, don't your friends play Minecraft?
Yeah, they do, but I want to go with you. In all honesty, though, I think it's going to be bad, but I kind of have to see it for like nostalgia's sake. Like Minecraft was such a big game, such a big part of my gaming life that I almost feel like I'm obligated to see it at some point. Maybe not in the theaters, but at some point.
You can have a great boys' night out.
Okay, we'll just watch it together. So, all right, well, that concludes our previews. Now on to the review. All right, so we saw War of the Rohirrim, which is an animated feature that's set in the Lord of the Rings universe, set about 200, I believe, years before the events of the actual Lord of the Rings trilogy. So yeah, go ahead, kick us off. What do you think? Major points.
Okay, so my hot take
Okay.
is that I wish it wasn't animated.
Oh. Okay.
I wish it wasn't animated.
That is a hot take.
I thought the story was great.
Okay.
And I would say the animation was gorgeous. Like, the scenes were gorgeous. Like, I wrote photorealistic. The scenes of the mountains and the sunsets, they were beautiful. And the people were obviously beautiful in that gorgeous anime, big-eyed way that they are.
Yeah.
But good Lord, there were no facial expressions. And it hurt the storytelling for me.
Okay.
But you can just hear these voice actors in the studio, like, you could just hear it in their performance that they are giving their all, and they are trying to convey all the subtleties of these people, and I am not seeing it.
Yeah.
So, like, two things that suffered for me for the animation was generally, like, the movement of people if they weren't fighting. Now, fighting was great, but, like, walking, they all looked like they had scoliosis.
Like hunched over or stiff?
So, like, stiff. Like,
Okay.
they're all in braces, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, something that I kept thinking is I was like, wow, Tolkien stories, they are more character-driven than I remember them being. Like, you know, there's stories that are more, like, plot-driven as opposed to character-driven. I'm like, these are really character-driven stories.
Yeah.
And I feel like the storytelling in this movie is suffering because I can't see the subtleties of their facial expressions.
Okay.
I can't see the conflict on their faces. There's no there's no hints in anybody. Just everybody has a mask.
Sure. Okay. So I agree with that opinion. However, my mind got over it because basically my opinion was this looks like 90s anime to me. Like if Sailor Moon got a full-blown movie, which it probably did at some point in time.
I mean, I've seen it. Yeah, they're Sailor Moon.
Yeah,
There's
or some other 90s anime. This felt very much in that.
I just don't think Lord of the Rings fits anime as a medium.
Yeah, so
I don't.
Yeah, so here's how I went into this.
Like, I never got over it. I was enraptured with the story the whole time, but I never got over that.
Yeah. So my brain got over it just basically by telling myself, this is Lord of the Rings fanfic, like good Lord of the Rings fanfic, basically. You know, that's how I kind of got through it. Now, however, you know, with my Lord of the Rings nerd lore knowledge, things did seem to line up for the most part for me. So maybe this is technically canon, but again, that wasn't my mentality going into it. You know, it's like I was just like, okay, I'm just going to be entertained by some sort of spin-off good anime fanfic, basically, of Lord of the Rings. That was kind of what my mentality was going into it. I don't know if you had the same mentality.
Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah.
Pretty much, where I was like, Tolkien isn't all I have to ask him.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, like, where the source material came from.
Sure. It probably was made up, honestly. So it probably is a little bit of fanfic, but that's okay.
But that's okay.
Yeah. Or it could have come. It could have come from somewhere, but not necessarily.
Yeah.
I haven't read like the Silmarillion or any of his other works. You know, I've only ever read the actual.
Right. So this might all be canon, and we're the idiots.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
Which is entirely possible.
Another point you made that I want to touch on real quick is the animation. So yes, I think it was very, very stiff. My complaint with the animation was
it's still beautiful.
Oh, very beautiful.
Don't
get me wrong. Beautiful. Every single screenshot could have been like a phone background or a computer background or anything really, or could have been a framed piece of art.
There'll be a lot of like framed art at Techno this summer
for sure. Yeah. I struggled a couple of times. You could tell certain scenes got more love than other scenes. Like, so I'll go through a couple. The biggest thing that I'm trying to make the point here is that there was one scene. I'm trying to remember exactly what scene it was. There was one scene where Hela. Is it Hela? It's Hela, right?
Hera.
Hera.
Is it
Hera? Okay, so Hera. Hera's walking was literally like 120 frames per second. It was the smoothest animation I've ever seen. And then the whole rest of the film was basically like the standard anime, like 24 frames per second. So it was really dissonant sometimes when I'm like, there's a scene where like...
I meant to make a note of it, but I said TV animation. Like when I was watching it, I was thinking, oh, it's TV animation.
Yeah, it was so weird that like certain random scenes got like the full 60 frames per second, and then most of the movie was like 24 frames, you know? It wasn't quite like Puss in Boots, like stylistic stuttery. It was like it was anime frame rate, honestly, which didn't throw me off. Like that's what I expected.
It was like, here's the budget.
But when you got the 60 frame scenes or whatever, I'm like, what is happening? It's like a whole new movie basically. Another thing is you were saying the landscapes were very beautiful and very realistic looking. I agree. So the opening scene bothered me a little bit, and I told myself,
Just wait.
Let it go, just wait for the whole movie. The terrain, the mountains was 100%, I guarantee you this is how they did it. It was formed in like a 3D space, in like a 3D program, and then they laid the skin of the texture of the mountains over it. And then they drew Hedda and all the other characters over top of it. So she was 100% hand-drawn, or not 100% hand-drawn, but like, she was full 2D, but the terrain was full 3D with the skin on top of it, basically, which I noticed pretty quickly. And then what happens
is... Was that every scene?
No, this was just the opening scene. Yeah, no, just when they were doing the flyovers of the terrain and stuff like that. That's when they did this stuff, which is fine, and I get it. You gotta, like, use your budget as well as you can. The problem with it is that it's very tricky to line up a 2D, quote-unquote, hand drawing with a 3D terrain. There was a couple times where she slid in a way that did not swing with the camera.
It makes me
moving
think,
in 3D.
You know what this reminds me of Wish, and how the characters were 3D against the 2D background, and like that cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
And, like, it seems like nobody's existing in a space that makes sense.
Right, exactly. So yeah, those two didn't line up exactly in a couple of scenes where I was like, ooh, like, you can tell that they tried to line these two camera rotations up at the same time, but they did not hit the mark on it, you know, so. But anyway, other than that, the animation was absolutely beautiful. I think the characters were really beautiful looking. They were super stylized in that, like, anime style that I really liked.
Everybody was hot.
Yeah, everybody was very attractive.
Everybody was hot.
Yeah, which was awesome.
I do have to say, though, I can't even remember if it was, like, a substantial scene, but it was a scene of, like, all the bad guys, like, walking down a mountain. And it was so bad. Like, it was there's one, like, scene of, like, a crowd, and I think it's, like, the bad guys, and they look terrible.
Oh, I missed it. No, I'm not recalling that. I believe you, but I'm not recalling that.
That's, like, the only time that I was like, oof.
Okay, well, fair
I
enough.
also kept it on the inside.
Yeah, right.
But that aside, still beautiful. Still beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, a show can be beautiful and not be, the movement isn't pristine.
Yeah, and they had the anime struggle lines too, you know, so like when there was something horrific was happening or they were concentrating really hard, you know how like the eyes like usually jiggle or the face jiggles whenever someone's concentrating really hard because it's actually a redraw of the face or whatever. They had that in this movie, which made it excellent. Again, that tickles the anime vibes that we were kind of looking for out of this movie.
I just needed more faces.
Yeah.
I needed more faces, and I think it's because I'm such a big fan of, like, Hayao Miyazaki, like every other human being on the planet.
Where, like, the lips line up with the...
Where he can animate subtlety.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's what I want. I want human facial expressions. I don't want to feel like I'm watching a cartoon. If I'm you know what I mean?
Sure.
The story deserved more than it got.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. The faces were stiff. Again, I attribute that a little bit to the style, but that doesn't mean you can't ask for it or want it, which I would say that, yes, I noticed a lot that the lips were like, when they were like screaming their heart out, you know?
Like, if this movie, you know, blew up and there was merch, then there would definitely be like a shirt with like Hera's face that was like happy, sad, distressed, my brothers all died, and they're all the same. Like, they're really all the same.
It's true.
I feel like there was a little bit more range in like Wolf and the bad guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Bit more?
Yeah.
But not that much.
Yeah. Hearing all the voice actors were good. Liked all the voice actors. I think...
Logan Roy.
Yeah.
Logan Roy is always Logan Roy to me, and he did great. And I definitely, I still got pulled out of it. But the problem is that the role of Logan Roy is so iconic, he will just be nothing else to me.
That's fair,
But God bless that man. He did a wonderful performance.
He did.
I mean, I have no idea how old this guy is,
yeah.
but I mean, he gave a performance like he was Stoic the Vast. Like, he sounded like a bad.
Right. Yeah, he did.
He did great.
Yeah.
But he is forever Logan Roy.
For sure, yeah. I will say Wolf, in my opinion, was the weakest voice actor. This is no shade on his VA. I just felt like a couple of times I struggled to follow what accent he was going for, and it felt like it wandered a bit, in my opinion. I don't know if you caught that at all.
Not really.
No.
I just kept thinking, wow, you sound like Rob Stark. And I would pull out my phone, I'm like, nope, he's still not Rob Stark.
Still not Rob Stark, yeah.
But,
right.
He definitely could be like a vocal dead ringer for him.
Yeah, right. Also, I have to throw one more comment in. The fact that King Hammer, he just ended up just beating the out of basically like 40 guys with his bare hands. Just, I don't know. It's so anime. I loved it, but it was also hilarious, you know? These guys have these like spears and swords and shields or something, and he's just like one punch manning these guys. It's so funny.
I also made the note Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
Like there was like a lot of like Super Saiyan punches.
For sure, absolutely.
Like from the beginning when he kills Reckon.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
I'm like, he punched him once.
Yeah.
Like, he just one punch man.
He just one punch man.
Everybody into war.
Yeah, basically, yeah, exactly. All right, what other points you got?
I wrote, what was this rated? This was so violent. Like, this is more violent than this is Princess Mononoke violent, which you won't get because you haven't seen
I haven't seen it yet.
But in all seriousness, I would not show a young child this movie.
Probably
like,
PG-13. I didn't think it was that violent.
I mean, it was just more violent. It was one of the more violent animated. Well, okay, you love that horrible anime show. I couldn't get through. So, like, this is probably like he's delivering.
I'm pretty desensitized to violence for sure.
Yeah, for me, like Princess Mononoke is the most violent thing I enjoy that is animated, and this is on that level.
Yeah.
It is good, but like I wouldn't necessarily show this to my son when he's 10.
Yeah, I bet you it was rated PG-13. That'd be my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they had a lot of like swearing,
because the next step up is
R.
the next step. Yeah, so the next step up is R, and there was no way that was R. What else you got? What other big major points you got?
Honestly, I think those are the big ones.
Okay.
Again, my last thoughts would be it's gorgeous. It's a tight story.
Yep.
I was afraid the character was going to be a complete Mary Sue, and to a degree she was.
Mm-hmm.
But the story was so good and so interesting that I didn't care.
Yeah.
And also, they didn't make all of the men weak to make her strong.
Right, yeah. I feel like this is like feminism done right for sure. Like, I didn't feel like all the men were a bunch of so that the woman can be the big strong hero in this movie. And no,
like her brothers didn't die because they were stupid. They died because it's war.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not because they're men.
Yeah, exactly.
Dumb man brain.
Yeah. So any of the stuff that I saw online that was saying like, oh, this is woke and oh, it's so new age feminism or whatever.
It's not.
It's not. No, this is definitely in the camp of a good story, in my opinion, for sure.
Like, I do think there's a hint of Mary Sue.
Explain to me Mary Sue again real quick.
It's when a female character is just excellent and perfect and good at everything with little to no training.
Yeah, gotcha.
Like experience.
That's true. Yeah.
There was a little bit.
But
again,
yeah.
The fact that she was surrounded by great characters of both genders,
yeah,
I don't care.
It wasn't nearly as prominent. Yeah.
Exactly. It wasn't like Rings of Power.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Oh, you said before we started recording, glad they brought back Mr. Lee for his speaking lines.
Bravo, Christopher Lee.
Yes.
We're going to go home and watch all the Lord of the Rings movies now in your honor at 6 p.m.
Yeah, right.
On a Sunday.
Yes. I don't know if you noticed this. Because this takes place, like, centuries before the actual Lord of the Rings, did you notice that Helm's Deep was bigger?
No.
Okay. In the Two Towers, when they're fighting in Helm's Deep, and that one orc or Uruk-hai takes the torch and dives into that small half hole that has the water coming through it or whatever. Mm-hmm. That was on the wall, but it was halfway up the wall and it was a full circle. So basically, what happens is over like the centuries between this movie and the Lord of the Rings, the Earth has moved basically and has they made the wall shorter essentially. Yeah. It was pretty cool to see, actually. Yeah. One thing they got retcon. Well, okay, this could be the Earth moving again or whatever. Is that the area behind the wall in Helm's Deep was just a small area, and then it went straight into mountains. And in this one, they had it go back like it was a river that went up the mountains, basically. I don't know if that's retcon or if that's the Earth changing or
just
not.
A continuity error.
Or a continuity error, yeah. It could be either of the two. It was a much bigger space behind the wall that wasn't there in the movie, for sure. Oh, I appreciated they used the exact same sound for the horn that Boromir's horn makes in the first film. It was the exact same horn, which is contiguous with the people that were in, that we're talking about, which is really, really cool. I really appreciated that.
Ooh, and also an obvious one, but, bonus points for using the Howard Shore score.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, it would have been, it would have, not unrecognizable as the Lord of the Rings property, but it was so much stronger.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the music's just so good that you can't really, you can't pass on it, Yeah. So, yeah, super, super good.
It's just like the necessary wrapping for anything in that universe.
Yeah, for sure.
Can we raise a glass to the poor horse who definitely got shot because he was too tired to go on.
Too old and too tired.
That was like devastating.
Yeah,
As
you
soon
were
as
pretty sad.
As soon as they're going out and he's like, old Bessie's fine. I'm like, old Bessie's a goner. This poor cute little horse. Oh, he's just tired. Like that to me, that was like the most devastating part of the movie.
Your love for animals is unparalleled because, you know, in the early part, when there's an infected, diseased, rabid Oliphant trying to kill the main character, and it gets killed by the swamp octopus, and you're like over there like upset and devastated. I'm like, this is a rabid, diseased old Oliphant trying to kill the main character.
Yeah, just old Yeller it.
And you're sad.
Yeah, old Yeller it.
You're sad.
Old Yeller it.
It's a bad elephant.
You don't have to let it get eaten alive.
It's a bad Oliphant, my bad.
You don't have to let anything get eaten alive. What a way to go. Just shoot him in the face and call it a day. Ah! I did not want to see that.
Oh, that was cool.
And the poor little sad elephant sound of death, I hated it.
Yeah.
No animal should ever die in movies, the end.
Okay.
Animated or real, just never. No animal death ever.
Yeah.
Never. Except for the tiger in the live-action Jungle Book movie that I will never watch again from when it came out like the 90s. But every other animal, no, they should all be okay.
Okay. All right. Whatever you say.
Unacceptable. I hate it. I hate animal death in movies. I can't do it. Worth seeing in theaters.
Definitely worth seeing theaters for sure. It was enjoyable.
Except for the subwoofer in the theater beside us.
Oh my gosh,
that was boomchicking like the whole time.
I think the theater beside us was showing Lion King, and for some reason they had that subwoofer cranked to like 400 or something like that. It was rattling our theater.
And by Lion King we mean like retcon Mufasa.
Yeah, I think it was Mufasa.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Ridiculous.
Cool.
Thank you and good night.